What happens now is that the Civil Status and Registration Office is working along with the landlords, who are the ones who might object to that person taking up a residence with his or her spouse. So, I mean, and the Ombudsman has, on his annual report, looked into this, and I would like to quote what he said. The procedure being applied by the Civil Status and Registration Office in refusing to approve residence permits for the spouses of British citizens verges on what he claims to be unconstitutional behaviour. Further on, he says, the Ombudsman has recommended that where a Gibraltarian or British citizen of whatever ethnic origin who is working in and living in Gibraltar and has proved to have adequate means and accommodation is married to a non-Gibraltarian or non-British national, the government, through the Civil Status and Registration Office, should not place any unnecessary and unreasonable barriers to the granting of permits of residence for their spouse. So, I mean, it's very clear that what is happening now is that the landlords are influencing the work of the department, and they are the ones who are actually saying to the department, you can grant a permit or not, which we think is a scandal.
Do you think that potentially this is a constitutional breach?
It might well be. The Ombudsman points out to the possibility of this being anti-constitutional. It would need the legal minds to interpret whether this is so or not. And even if it isn't, it is a moral outrage, we think, that husbands and wives should not be able to live together because of the involvement of the landlords. What we think should happen is that the department, in this case the Civil Status and Registration Department, should not allow the intervention of the landlords into this affair.
Would it be fair to say that the people who might be affected by this policy are not exclusively, but they are mainly of Moroccan origin?
Mainly, but we also have at least one who's not of Moroccan origin.
European? Or?
Yeah.
And if such a person is not here legally, they run the risk of being refused access to government services, such as to the GHA, for example, or even being deported.
That's right. I mean, we have a particular case. I mean, we have a few, but this one is a married man. He married a non-Gibraltarian. His parents are of Moroccan origin, but he was born here. He lived with his parents. He married this non-Gibraltarian, who they have a child in common, and yet because the landlord, or in this case the landlady, is refusing to give him the tenancy rights, the department is not giving her and the baby the permit. Therefore, the wife and the child run the risk of being without medical care. That to us is outrageous, really.